Knicks Rehab.
Knicks Rehab, y'all.
Keeping your eyes on the prize, baby Bubba. Code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize picks. It's good to be right. OG Anunoby, here's an update on him and his injury. Knicks OG Anunoby advances in hamstring recovery with an on-court scrimmages. The New York Knicks announced Saturday that forward OG Anunoby, sidelined since injuring his left hamstring against the Miami Heat 2 weeks ago, has progressed to an on-court work, including 3-on-3 play with controlled contact. Mike Brown emphasized daily monitoring by medical staff to ensure steady recovery without rushing, with full 5-on-5 contact still ahead and no return timetable set. Anunoby's defensive skills remain key for strong early season Knicks as they prepare for Toronto on Sunday and the NBA Cup. And I guess the only thing we're really concerned about as Knicks fans is, are the Knicks telling the truth? Because you motherfuckers be lying, man. Like, we can't lie about this. You know, we are traumatized as far as this thing is concerned. OG missed a chunk of time and tried to come back against the Pacers 2 seasons ago. See somebody in the comments put, how can you put OG Anunoby as far as injury-riddled players and on the Knicks right now? It's like Mitchell Robinson, Karl-Anthony Towns, and OG Anunoby have always been known to be hurt and not play, unlike Josh Hart, who has been known to be hurt and play. That's why we're concerned with OG Anunoby, especially me. You know, I'm the biggest OG fan. My favorite Knick on the team right now because he's a defensive genius. That's all I got to say about that, Flea. What are we? How have we combated the OG timetable, and what do we feel about him returning to at least some of this action?
Well, I think it's concerning. I saw a clip, and of course I should have saved it and sent it to you, but I didn't. I just saw it in real time.
Let's see if I can look it up.
From a doctor or somebody, and it was talking about OG possibly having like some type of muscle imbalance, which causes him to have frequent hamstring injuries and problems like that. Like, because he's torn his ACL, he overcompensates. I'm not, and family, chat, and Fabian, I'm no doctor, so don't quote me. I'm just saying I know what I heard, and I'm probably not giving it to y'all verbatim, but it's something along the lines of OG having some type of muscle imbalance where he's susceptible to these hamstring injuries. If y'all remember before, he pulled up on his hamstring against Indiana, maybe I think 2 seasons ago. Like, that hamstring thing is an issue. And so I don't know what it is, right? But I'm sure if you did some Googles, Fabian, you could find it where they're discussing that. And I just think, you know, he's a dude that we may need to take our time with. Do I love him being on the basketball court for us? Yes. Do I love who he is on the defensive end for us? Yes. How he's progressed offensively? Yes. But at the end of the day, I think he's just as vital as a Mitchell Robinson if we're trying to make a run at this title. And so we need him out there, and we need him healthy. And so if we're going to continue to have to worry about this hamstring, and a hamstring is tough. There's a couple of guys out right now with hamstrings, and those hamstring injuries, you got to be careful with those things. Those are not like 1 to 2 week, you know, it's not an ankle, right? It's not an ankle. Well, most ankle injuries, it's not an ankle. This hamstring thing could be a minimum 4 to 6 weeks kind of thing, as it's been for OG, right? I think who else is out with a hamstring? Jalen Green is out with a hamstring injury. A couple of the guys in the league right now are dealing with hamstring injuries. So you got to be careful with that. You got to proceed with caution. But OG is vital to what we do, and we need him at 100%, like 100%. So I'm concerned. I'll be honest with you. I'm concerned going forward. Highest paid Knick, or one of the highest paid Knicks. What he brings to us on the basketball court is important, but we got to find a way to keep him healthy. He's got to find a way to stay healthy.
I know there was a guy, wasn't Isaiah Whitehead, was commenting about on one of ALLBALL's lives that OG Anunoby's contract, you know, it's the highest in Knick history, and it's this, that, and the third. But let me explain something to y'all, okay? Let's stop playing enough of these shenanigans. You know, I do my due diligence. See this right here? OG Anunoby takes up 26% of the cap last year, 25% of the cap this year, 25 the following season, 25.6, 26, and then 26, 4.3. Yes, he's making 48, 45, $42 million in the future. But we don't compare that to a max contract. Let's see, as what's his name? Shay. How you spell Shay's name? Shay Gildress?
Shai.
There we go. Shay Gildress Alexander. Thank you, Flea, for your correction. He makes 35% of the cap for his team, 36%, 36.8%, and then eventually 37.49%. What do we say about OG? He makes what? 20 what? 25%, 26%, 25%. He is not in the class of no damn max contract deal. So yeah, is it a crazy deal because it's the richest in Knicks history? Sure, but that's what we got to give credit to Leon Rose and the capologists that come up with a quarter of your salaries for this guy, not 35%, which is where all the max contract guys are. And Jalen Brunson took a backseat to that, by the way, which I should have looked that up. How much did Jalen Brunson take up, especially compared to Cat? Because Cat is on a different level than this year. This is bananas what Cat is taking up. I'm a little scared to bring up Cat. Right now, Jalen Brunson takes up 22.6%, 22.7%, 23.26%, and 23.68%. So as far as the contract is concerned, I can look up Karl Anthony Towns now as I'm talking, but I'm not. We knew what it was with OG Anunoby. He was injury prone. We didn't think. I mean, I was looking forward to him being more injured, to be honest. Not looking forward to it, but just expecting it. And then with Mitchell Robinson, we knew what to expect. Karl Anthony Towns, I'm thinking that I'm gonna always be like, shit. I'm gonna wake up and all three of these guys are gonna be hurt. So, it's a part of it. The hamstring thing is what kept him out against the Pacers. Obviously, he tried to rush back or come back in there and be the hero. Nothing wrong with that. He tried to prove himself, and then he earned his deal, in my opinion. Now he's showing you why he's making that much money. Karl Anthony Towns, by the way, he makes 35% of the cap, 35, 34. 34.36, 34.38, and eventually in the 27-28 season, at $61 million, he'll be making up 35% of the cap. That's worrisome for a guy, for all of us, because it's Karl Anthony Towns, basically a one-way player. But OG Anunoby being a defensive guy, who we all said, all ball made a great point, like he needs to average 17, 18 points. All right, well, while he's developing that offensive side, he's still one of the best defenders in the league. So you want a guy that shuts things down, to your point about earlier. If Kolek ain't getting us any points, generating it with his passing and just his playmaking on offense, he's giving up too many on the other end with Scotty Barnes being on fire. With OG, I think no matter how bad your offense is, when you can get stops like that, create turnovers like that, you're always in position for a swing play, for a swing possessions. I think when defenders like this is why he is so important. Right now, the fact that we are developing some sort of chemistry, I forgot about Shamit. That's how great we looked the last 2 days, that I'm not even thinking about OG and Shamit. That's kind of crazy. And that's what we want. Like we said about Cat. All right, Karl Anthony Towns can't play defense. But today, were we really worried about that? It's just not worried about it when you got guys that are showing up and doing their thing and making up for whatever that we don't have. And Mitchell Robinson finally stepped up, and maybe he's back in position, which is the bench. OG Anunoby, we're looking forward to him to starting and creating these stops, shutting down some of these best players in the league, but more so adding to what we have going on now, because Bridges has picked it up. He has been consistent in what he's doing. We can't no longer expect him to be a shutdown two guard. That's not what he is. He's more of a finesse style, chippy kind of guy. He's an annoying defender. But to say that he's not impactful, that's all the way wrong, especially with his kind of playmaking on the defensive end. But I don't know where he comes up with a strip. Still get the game-winning steal on Jalen Brown. He did it twice in the playoffs last year to close it out. OG Anunoby has that kind of mentality, that kind of possession to possession ability on the defensive end. I'm about to get us a steal. I'm about to make your best player feel bad about himself for thinking he could take me on as an offensive player. Bridges doesn't have that per se, but if he's developing with OG waiting in the wings, I finally am starting to feel good after we put a 2 or 3 game stretch together, Flea. Like this is starting to feel good for once this season.
And we're not even nowhere near as good as we can be yet. Nowhere near as good as we can be yet, I think. I thought today was a could have been a prime day for Cat to have a really an elite game and really punish Toronto. I don't think Toronto has any rim protection at all. They were without Jakob Portal, but get Jakob Portal the fuck out of here. You talking about Karl Anthony Towns? Don't talk to me about Jakob Portal, okay? So I thought, Cat, tonight could have been a prime example of, everybody's talking about how great of a defender Scotty Barnes has become over the last year or so. And, today could have been, he could have sent them a message, especially, how everybody's playing, saying Toronto's playing so well, and they are, right? They're at the top of the East with us, right? But everybody at the top of the East right now, currently, I don't know if they're for real, right? If we look up in January and February and they're going to still be there, right? Detroit is number 1. Are they going to be able to maintain that? Toronto is number 3. Are they going to be able to maintain that? The Knicks are number 2, and we have been at the top of the East for the last couple of seasons. So we are right where we're supposed to be. Them other niggas, I don't know. They got to show me. I don't know yet. So we still made a statement, though. They still came to the Garden, and we sent their ass right back across the border. Go home. We're going to see them again, I think, in another week or so in that whole NBA Cup thing. And that
At
game kind of, right, that game kind of has some stipulations on how the NBA Cup thing works. But all in all, I thought it was a good win. I thought it was a good win, from Mike Brown's coaching standpoint. I thought he called all the right timeouts. Every time that they made a small run, he shut the water off, called a timeout, had us regroup, and came out of that timeout with, something, with some type of action to get us back, settle us down, and get us back into this thing. So great win all around as a team, right? Could we say this person didn't do this person didn't do that? We could do that for 81 games, 82 games. But at the end of the day, tonight, we got a solid win against a team that has been playing good basketball. We caught them with some tired legs and kicked their ass. So I like it.
Y'all know what this was.
Knicks Rehab.
Knicks Rehab, yeah.
ALLBALL TV.
They scared, but I'm not.
They don't like comentario.
Y suscribe.